All right, tax deferral is the name of the game. How do we pay the least amount of taxes for us truck drivers, owner-operators, lease operators, and company drivers? I don't know about you guys, but when I do my taxes, I want to pay as little as possible. Well, you really need to know the rules. You really need to use a really good tax accountant, and you need to know what you're doing. Well, they actually really need to know what they're doing. There are so many things that drivers can take advantage of, but they just don't. Well, they just don't have the right guidance to do it. Here are some really good examples. You know that jacket that you bought yourself last year? Well, guess what? That's a work jacket. How about that mattress that you bought yourself? Well, that mattress is actually going into your truck. You know that grocery bill that you have? Well, 20% of that grocery bill is actually going with you on the road, so you can actually expense that. How about that furry little friend, that pet of yours inside that truck? Well, guess what? That pet could actually be an emotional support dog or cat or whatever it is, and you can be writing off its meals also. That's a lot of money, isn't it? How about those flip-flops, the ones that drive me crazy when I see truck drivers in flip-flops? Well, guess what? Those flip-flops are actually for you to be comfortable in your truck, so that's a write-off also. Now, a regular tax firm is not gonna know all these things. I mean, you can't expect them to. You need to use somebody who specializes in trucking, truck drivers, owner-operators, and lease operators. And that's why I'm gonna recommend to you guys our friends over at M7 Taxes that have 13 locations for you to choose to work out of, both in Canada and in the US. I have provided a link below for your free 30-minute consultation with them. But now let's get into the most common mistakes that tax accountants make that don't specialize in trucking and logistics. So the biggest mistake is meals. Did you know that you can claim meals based off your logbook and not those receipts? Enough with the receipts, enough with the shoebox. The second one is lodging and your shower expenses. Those can be expensed. Number 3, the pet that I talk about. Yes, it's an emotional support animal, a dog, a cat, etc., whatever it is. Not a lot of people know this, that you can write off the expenses of that pet in your truck. Now this one is really interesting. The 1099, claiming entire gross and not claiming any expenses. Did you know that there are some truck drivers out there that on their 1099, they just put their gross income and that's it? They don't actually use their expenses that they're allowed to on the 1099? Yeah, who would have thought? The next one, taking advantage of income loss. So especially in times like this, owner-operators, I'm sure you can declare income losses, especially right now, when freight rates are really, really low, when the cost of equipment is really high, when the fuel is just outrageous, and interest rates are through the roof. Yes, you can be declaring an income loss. Now, make sure you're paying yourself as a driver also, right? So take yourself that salary, that $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 salary that you need to make for yourself. Make sure your corporation is paying you personally. So some more expenses: in-cab living expenses, electronics, cleaning supplies, clothing, and those tools that we all love. All right, so here's a quick list of the biggest mistakes that small business owners make. So you'd be surprised, but number 1 is choosing the wrong form of business. I mean, in the US, I know you guys have a corporation, S Corp, C Corp. There's many different variations of businesses in the US. So make sure you're choosing the right form of business that is for you. The second thing is waiting until tax time to catch up on record keeping. So make sure you're keeping your records as you go along month to month. Don't just wait right before tax time to start keeping the records or digging up all those records. The third thing is getting behind on tax deposits and estimates of tax payments. So the last thing you want to do is, again, if you're paying yourself a salary, the last thing you want to do is get behind on paying the taxes on that salary. I mean, really what you should be doing is your corporation should be paying you personally a salary. Now on that salary, there is the personal income tax that you have to pay. So a part of your portion for us here in Canada, it's CPP, EU, EI, and we need to pay this as business owners, deduct it from the salary. So the last thing you want to do is not pay and wait until the end of the year, because those numbers are going to accumulate and accumulate fast. Number 4, a big no-no is paying employees as independent contractors. Employees inside your office, employees even truck drivers here in Canada, they gotta be paid on payroll. If you're paying them as independent contractors, that is a big no. no. And mistake number 5 is missing out on deductions and other tax benefits. I mean, when you're working with a tax accountant that specializes in trucking, they will give you ideas, just like I did in this video, in the beginning of the video. Now, there are a lot more ideas that they can throw your way to make you have less income and pay less on your taxes. Now, if you're working with a moron, they're not gonna tell you anything. They're just gonna take everything that you give them. And that's why it's important to work with somebody that specializes in trucking logistics, because they know the kind of expenses that you have or can incur on the road, right? I mean, windshield washer fluids, whatever, little things, but those things add up over the course of the year. So I've sent a bunch of my drivers, whether they're single, owner operators, I sent them to M7 taxes, and I've actually had some really good feedback about them. So if you're not happy with your tax consultants and you want to give somebody a shot, hey, it's 30 minutes and it's free. What else can you ask for? Click that link below, schedule your 30-minute consultation with them, and hey, it might just save you money at the end of the day. So hope you enjoyed this video, hope you learned something from it, and if you did, make sure you press that like and subscribe button. I'm Ronen, Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next video.